and welcome to my channel. My name is Brandon, and today we get to dive into the production behind this Beatles-inspired song that you just heard. So when I started writing this song, I started with a piano, and I just chose a virtual one just to save time. And I chose the Gentleman, and I made sure that the tone was harder. And by the way, this song is based off of Penny Lane. That's where I got the most inspiration from. I tried to listen to a couple different songs of the Beatles that I loved, but Penny Lane was a key contributor. And the piano in that was hard and bright, so I tried to copy the tone, and this is what we came up with. The chords are a little wonky. I just kind of followed my ear. I'll try and explain. It's E, and then descending bass line, and then I think that's a C sharp minor. I could be wrong. And then we pop up. This is the part that's weird, is where we go up to this F sharp. And it's an F sharp 6, I think. I just thought it was cool. I liked how it popped up and then popped down to the F, descending again. So let's listen to this by itself. Let me solo the piano. So over here at the end, it's a B chord over an E. After that, I came up with a bass line. I tried to follow the piano chords and bass line a little bit, but I wanted to move a little bit more. The production behind this is, I didn't even use Melodyne, so that's just on there. I've got a rider to keep the levels a little bit closer without me having to do a lot of work. I'm using Helix Native, and it's a simple, like really simple thing. I'm just using an amp and cab. They're G Cougar. I like the sound of it. And then there's a little bit of compression. Just -1 here and there. Just enough of the threshold. It's a 4.0 to 1 ratio. Last thing is a bit of an EQ. It's just getting rid of the high end and drop here in the 900s. That's the bass. The drums are very simple. I used Abbey Road 60s drummer because I wanted that sort of sound. I added this send here is reverb, and I sent quite a bit of reverb from the snare to the snare, however you say that. And well, we'll listen. It's that, the whole song. I only add that little open hi-hat twice, just for a little bit of a sparkle. Very simple. We'll save the vocals for last. Let's go to these instruments. I have a flute, just doing staccatos. Except, it sounds a little weird. As you can see, I have a flanger. Well, it's doing chorus. So there's a chorus effect on those notes. So it's just a little wonky. Oh, and by the way, using Spitfire, if you care about woodwinds and all of that stuff, virtual instruments. Symphonic woodwinds. Okay, and then the clarinet is also from that same batch of things, same symphonic woodwinds, except this is a flutter tongue. And I rendered it to audio, that's why it's not MIDI. And then just a nice trombone doing staccatos. I think that these three instruments are lovely, and they just give the song a sense of joy. It's kind of childlike, which matches the words in the feel of the song, in my opinion. Okay, so the vocals, I doubled. I sang 2 different takes and tried. You can see they're a little bit cut up. I wanted to match where I accidentally didn't match, so I just did some doctoring. Made sure the waveforms lined up as close as possible. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not supposed to be. That's how you get that doubled sound. Here's just with one. Why did all the little birds... And then when you add two, it's just... Why did all the little birds... Subtle chorusing effect, you know, they're not exactly the same pitch the whole time. I didn't pitch these with Melodyne or auto-tune or anything like that. So let's look at the effects behind the vocals. So I started out with a CLA 76, which is a compressor, and I'll show you how hot that is hitting. Let me just solo this one channel. Why did all the little birds... So you can see at the most it hit -3, and the rest it's just barely moving into that compression range. I just wanted a little bit, because and then this is an EQ. I'll explain the rest of that thought in a second. The EQ just cuts out some low end. Don't need below 100, in my opinion. I've got a de-esser, simply just taking care of those S's. And then I've got another compressor. Why did all the little birds... Which is doing more, so I've got two compressors, right? This one is hitting about -4. You can see the ratio is 3.7. Felt pretty good. I'm using this preset, and then I just set the threshold. Something for nothing. I liked how it sounded. Just used my ear. Last thing's a reverb. Fab Filter Pro R. Just set it for kind of a smaller space, medium, and put the mix at 13%. And yeah, there's some EQ stuff going on down here, but that's like the post EQ of just the reverb. So it gets rid of some of the top end and some of the middle. And there's the decay. Anyways, that's about it for the vocals. The last thing we'll look at is this master. So I've started off with a compressor just to glue everything together, and I will show you how hot that hits. Birds fly away. So it's just a glue. I don't want the meters going anywhere past like 1 or 2 or 3 at the most, maybe. It's just kind of to glue everything together. Ratio is 1.85, really kind of a small thing. And then I've got Saturn, which is a distortion sort of thing. I'm using a preset, Magic Mastering. I like how it sounds. It just adds a little bit of saturation to the mix and compresses it a little bit. It sounds great. This L1 Ultra Maximizer is just a limiter to make sure that I don't peak. I didn't have to go up on the threshold because the way I mixed it, it was already loud enough, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. But the outselling just protects it from peaking, and it's in true peak. So this Uline loudness meter is wonderful. YouTube and other streaming services, for the most part, want things around -14 integrated. And you can see I'm pretty close to that. We've just been playing it. Birds fly away. And they see that I am here. So now that I know I've got that at the right area. If I didn't, I would probably go up here to the threshold of the limiter and raise it up. You can see just by moving it up, it gets loud from the static, but that would raise the volume of the whole thing and make it a lot more compressed. Anyways, this is where we want it to hit. So at this point, we render it out or we play it to a render, and we are done. So I think that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this walkthrough of how I produced this song and this little write of a Beatles-esque song. And if you liked it and you learned something, make sure you do the things to be notified and see what's coming next. And I appreciate you guys, and have a great day.